If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
So I was asking, are you guys familiar with Workday? At least have you seen the tenant, or have you used that product as a customer or as an employee in the past? Any kind of experience in Workday ecosystem?
I haven't. I've used other HRMSs,
Like
SAP, Oracle,
SAP, okay.
Dynamics.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have some background on SAP. Okay, so
Yes.
primary difference between how Workday is different from SAP is Workday. Like if you, let's say, if you consider, if you want to implement an ERP in SAP, you will have to first purchase your in-house servers, and then you'll have to deploy Workday onto these not sorry Workday, no, SAP into these servers. You don't have to purchase service. It is completely deployed on the AWS. So it's like, logging into the tenant. You can just log in into the application from the browser. So this is how the tenant looks like, and I'll log in again. So I'm just going to log out here just to show you how the login screen looks like. So this is how the login screen looks like in Workday, and every employee, regardless if it's an employee or if it's an admin, anyone who will have access to Workday, everyone will be logging in the same way. They will have to give a username and a password, and they can sign in to log into Workday. So, and once you log in, this is how the screen of the Workday, this is how the home page will look like. Now this home page is completely customizable, and there are a lot of features in Workday. For example, you can see there is an assistant feature here where you can directly request certain information. It is like an AI bot, and it can be configured in Workday, and you can have a lot of worklets here that can be configured on the home screen, so you can see your team's performance, learning, organizations, cost centers. So right now what I see is this is a I have complete access to all the modules. So I have an implementer access, but then the access, what the employees will see will be a little different than the access what the administrators who are using Workday to run the day-to-day HR operations will see. So I'm just going to show you a few more basic navigations in Workday. So you see here, you can search. If you want to search for an employee, you can directly search for an employee in this search. So I'm just going to search for somebody named Jack. So if you search for Jack, it will list out all the instances in Workday that starts with Jack. So you can see that there are certain employees that start with Jack. You can also see there are certain organizations, supervisory organizations that also start with Jack. So it will just retrieve every single instance that has the word Jack. So you can see Jackie here, but we just mentioned Jack. So all the instances will be pulled into the search in the search results. I'm just going to open this one worker here. So this is how a worker profile will look like in Workday. In the summary, you'll see summary, overview, a lot of tabs here. I'll go through each of these tabs. Now you see there is a bell icon here. This is nothing but a notification button. So whenever you have some notifications, like if there is a report that you are executing, so let's say you are an admin in Workday and you are executing a report, you will see that report is now available. You can go and access this report. If there are certain transactions that were completed or anything, as a matter of fact, that needs to be notified to you. For example, you can see there are birthday messages over here. Okay, so there's so and so employee's birthday. So these kind of anything that is a notification, like we get notifications on Facebook. Similarly, this works in a similar fashion. Any information that has to be notified to you will be coming in notification. And you see there is a message inbox. So all the actionable items will be found in the inbox. Now this is an inbox for an implementer account. So you'll see different approval actions and different change actions for different employee. So let's say an HR admin who is using this to manage their HR operations. They are doing some transactions, so they will get a task in their inbox saying, okay, these you have to change the personal information for some worker, or you have to change the organization for some worker. You have to initiate onboarding for some worker. So all the actionable items you will find in this inbox. Now it will be different for employee. Even employee will get actionable letters. For example, they have to they have to submit their personal information or addresses or address proof. So those kind of once they get hired, so those kind of actions will be sent to the employees inbox, and they will have to complete it. So like once they see the action, they have to make all the changes here, and they have to submit that action. So once they submit it, it will go to the next step. So that is about this is a workday inbox. Now here is the profile. This is my profile. So I'm just right now I'm looking at Jack's profile. So let me just go back to that employee, Jack. So this is the home screen of our employee's profile. If you look at the employee's profile, and here you'll see some information like what is a workday ID, the supervisory organization. Now, supervisory organization is nothing but um, uh, like in every company, you'll belong to one organization, right? There will be a lot of employees, and these employees will be classified, or they will be hired in different organization units. So each of these organizations are called as supervisory organization. If I just go and look at the supervisory organization here, you'll see that how many members are part of the organization. So this organization has some around 3 members, and this is the top organization. If there are any subordinate organizations, you can see that there are 2 subordinate organizations. You can go and access those subordinate organizations. So here there are no employees. So let's just going to go back, and you can see the details of the organization, like what is the availability, what is the subtype of the organization, and all. And this is all part of HCM. You'll see the position of the worker, or on which position that worker was hired, the business title, the job profile of the worker, the job family, worker type, management. The worker. So here that is 100%. If it's a part-time worker, you'll see it as somewhere around 50% or 70% or 80%. So how much out of 40 hours, which is a default that we can define again, how many hours is the employee working, what percentage of hours the employee is working, you can define it in the FT percentage. What is the location of the worker, and the hire date when the employee was hired. You can also capture some other service date like original hire date, continuous service date. Now the difference between original hire date and hire date is nothing but, let's say, now here you see that both of them are same, but let's say this employee Jack Taylor, he resigned, he separated from this organization in 2010. After 10 years he's got separated, and then he was rehired in 2022 January 1st. So you'll see the hire date as 1st of January 2022, but the original hire date will be this. So once you can separate, once the employee is terminated, you can rehire that employee with the same profile. So even that is possible in Workday. It will also show the length of service, time in position, time in job profile, and you'll see a few more. So each of these tab has different information. Like here, you'll see the compensation of the worker. And now I'll come back to this one. We have the employee has benefits. You'll see what are the different benefits the employee is currently eligible for, and what benefits has employee is assigned to his personal information, like what is his address, his ethnicity, and whatever details. Now here we are just capturing these details, but there are a multitude of details that we can capture here. His contact information, emergency contacts, his address, all his socials, and everything we can capture here. So this is how an employee's profile will look like when you open any employee. We can perform multiple actions directly from this profile. So if you click on the actions, you'll see a number of options that you can do. Like if you want to initiate a transfer or promote the worker, or change the location of the worker, if you want to change the compensation of the worker. So you can see that there is a compensation here. If you want to change the compensation, provide stock grants, one-time payments, all this is possible. So this is a basic navigation that I wanted to give you before we talk about Workday. So in Workday, there are about 16 to 17 major Workday modules. Each module serve different purpose and different requirements. And now all the organizations that are implementing Workday may not go live with all the modules. They can choose which modules they want to go live with, and based on that Workday can be implemented. So they can go live with like few modules, but the most of the Workday implementations what I have seen is HCM, compensation, and sometimes there is absence. Absence is also a common module in many of these implementation project, but there is always HCM and compensation always implemented. Now the compensation module is divided again into two sub modules. One is called core compensation, and there is another module called as advanced compensation. Now now the core compensation module will deal with all the assignment of the compensation, like different kinds of compensation plans and compensation components that can be assigned to the worker. If you want to change the compensation of the worker, what are the different business processes that are involved, and if you want to provide one-time payments, if when at the time of promotion, how the compensation can be changed, what are the different compensation ranges, if you want to assign the worker to a particular grade, and those grade hierarchies, all that will come with for core compensation. Now there is a separate module called as advanced compensation. Now the reason we have core compensation and a separate module called advanced compensation is because advanced compensation is completely to drive the annual review cycles in an organization. So most companies will have a annual review. Like some companies will have a one time annual review. Some companies will have uh, annual reviews two times a year. So they will have a mid year review, and then at the end of the year they will have another review. So to handle this annual review cycle specifically, we have advanced compensation. Now, not some companies already have yeah, some enterprise software already implemented just to handle the annual reviews in their organization. So there are certain customers who don't want to use advanced compensation Workday, and some customers they do use advanced compensation features. So it depends from customer to customer. That's why Workday has divided compensation to two sub modules. One is core compensation, and the customers who want to use advanced compensation they can opt into advanced compensation module. All right. Has anyone else joined, or is it the same population?
We can go ahead. We can start with a basic review of what we covered last week, sorry, yesterday, and then today's items.
All right. Okay. Okay, to start with, let's start with frequency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some basic elements that are required for you to understand core compensation. Now, in my last call with Karthik, what Karthik wanted to have a deeper understanding is with the advanced compensation, how the review cycles work, how does that business process flow work. But to understand that, you should have a good understanding of core compensation and how the core compensation is assigned to the worker. So I will first take you through the basic components in core compensation, and then I will take you through all the different types of compensation plans that we have in Workday. And then there are certain important business processes that we have in Workday for compensation. So I will take you through those business processes and explain you how the workflow happens in business. So when an employee is hired, how the compensation is assigned to the worker, if there is any promotion or any transfer, how we can, how the compensation changes for the worker, and how can we control that change, those kind of demonstrations, and how can we do ad hoc compensation change. If you want to provide a one-time payment for some workers, how can we do that? So those kind of demonstrations I'll be doing for core compensation. And once we are good with core compensation, we'll dive into advanced compensation. All right. So having said that, let's start. So the first component that I want to discuss is frequencies. So frequency is nothing but so when you're getting paid, when an employee is assigned a compensation component, we have to define what is the frequency of payment. So how often this worker, let's say here in this case Jack Taylor. So how many times in a year this jack teller is going to get paid a specific compensation component. So we'll have to define frequencies. Now in Workday, it is very easy to go and search for any task here. So let's say you want to look for frequencies. You just have to search for frequencies here. Now as I type, you can see that it will already start showing you different suggestions. What are the different? So these are different tasks that you have. You can just click enter. It will show you all the results. So frequencies here will give you an overview of all the frequencies that we have currently in this tenant. Now, whenever I'm referring to tenant, that is this system. Workday environment is called as a tenant. Now, in most of the Workday implementations, once the system goes live, they will always have, and most softwares, ERP softwares will have like a production tenant, a production system, an instance, or and a sandbox instance, and then we want development. So even Workday will provide you with three different instances that we want, what we call it as tenants. So so in this tenant, we see that there are eight frequencies. Now these eight frequencies are Workday delivered frequencies. Now let's say let's take first frequency, which is annual. Now we already know what is annual, but how does Workday categorize annual as a frequency? So that whenever worker is assigned a compensation component that has an annual frequency, how does Workday know that this compensation component should be paid only once a year? So you can see there is an annualization factor. So this is what it is going. This is what will determine how many times in a year the if we use this frequency as a rate of payment. So if it is annual, the annualization factor will be 1. Now, if it is bi-weekly, that means every week the worker is going to get paid. So now there are 26 weeks in a year, so the annualization factor will be 26.
Sorry, that
So,
is once in 2 weeks. That's why there are 52 weeks in a year.
sorry, I'm sorry. So sorry. So bi-weekly is once in 2 weeks, so that will be 26. But if it is weekly, it is going to be 52. Similarly, for semi-monthly, we have 24. Now, let's say you got a requirement where you want to configure a frequency where worker is going to get twice in a year. So this is how you can do it. Now, here you cannot edit, but there is a task called as maintain frequencies. So you can just search for frequency and you will find maintain frequency already available here. So in maintain frequency, you can go and you can maintain a frequency, like for example, biannual frequency, and here the annualization factor will be 1. Now I have seen certain projects that use some really different types of frequency. For example, 13.843. So this is also a frequency that certain companies use, and I have seen that cases. So it is completely configurable. Like it can you can create as many frequencies as you want. So we can create a bi-annual frequency, and the frequency type will be annual frequency, so twice in a year. And if these frequencies can be shared between compensation module and payroll module as well. So if you want to enable a specific frequency for payroll as well, you have to check this box used in payroll interface. And so this is about the frequency. So if I go and open a compensation plan, now don't worry about the details of the compensation plans. I just want to explain you the frequencies in this specific compensation plan, but we will revisit all these compensation plans when I discuss uh, in the next few sessions. So let us take an allowance plan, for example. So here you see there is a frequency. So what happens is any employee will be assigned this specific allowance plan, will be paid 20,000 pounds, UK pounds, once a year. So this is how the frequency will determine how many times a worker is going to get paid a specific compensation component that is assigned to his profile. I'll just open another allowance plan just to show you. So we take period salary plan here. So this is also a different type of It's not internet allowance. Now, internet allowance is something that will be paid, that the employee can be should be paid once every month. So you see there is a frequency that is used is monthly, and here it is zero. So that is not a problem. We can change this value at the time of assignment for a week. So that is about frequencies. Now every compensation, there is something called as a compensation element. So let me just open Google Sheets. Hello, I'm not able to find that, but I'm going to use my, I am not going to use a headset. I'll just use my system's microphone. So is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. Uh, okay, so coming to the compensation element. Now, compensation element is nothing but a link between workday compensation and payroll. So, compensation element is like a link between compensation and payroll. So whenever we are creating a compensation plan, we will assign a compensation element to the compensation plan. Now what happens is, let's say for example, some of you I think already have some background in SAP. So let's consider SAP payroll, for instance. You know, these payroll will have wage types, right? Now how does value gets populated in these wage types? It has to be pushed by some means. Now Workday also has a payroll module. If there is a payroll module already implemented for a project, the integration is seamless, and that also happens via comp element itself. But the problem with Workday payroll module is that there are only 4 countries currently that is supported by Workday
Nikhil, we have
payroll. That
already
is,
finished all of this yesterday, no?
yeah, Karthik, some of these people are new.
Okay. Maybe then we can quickly go through because they have a recording to check actually. Because let's not repeat so that we can effectively spend our time.
So where do you want me to start, Karthik? I'll start
We
from
can
there.
go that I think, but let's go to the new ones actually. The compensation. What type of compensation plans? How do we build the compensation
All
plans
right.
and all?
Okay then. Okay, then we'll start with compensation plans. Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so there are multiple types of compensation plans in Workday, and each of these compensation plans have different usages. So, for example, we have salary plans, we have hourly plans, we have unit salary plans, period salary plan, allowance plan. So there are different types of compensation plans that can be created in Workday, and each of these compensation plan will serve a specific purpose. Now we'll go through each of these compensation plans, starting with salary plans. Now salary plan should be assigned to a worker. Every worker who is hired in Workday should have either a salary plan or an hourly plan. So these two compensation plans will serve as a base salary for the worker. Now worker can have all these plans. If they can be assigned one from each of these plans, they can have a lot of plans. Some workers might have 20 or 30 compensation plan. That is also possible, but at a minimum a worker should have a salary plan or an allowance plan that will serve as a base salary for the worker. So let us just see how to create a salary plan. So create salary plan is a transaction, or is a task to create a salary plan. And there are when you create any compensation plan, you have to provide an effective date for that compensation plan. So this will define from which date is this salary plan available in Workday for assignment. So if I give today's June 1st as a effective date, you cannot assign this compensation plan as of let's say 31st of May. You can only assign this compensation plan in Workday as of 1st of June. So I'm just going to use 1st of June here. Now there are only few fields in salary plan, and that is because the value, whatever the amount that we are going to assign in the salary plan, happens at the time of hire. So here it will only capture very minimum values. So I'm just going to use a fictitious company, like let's say Meta salary plan. Okay. Now the compensation element. Now yesterday we discussed about the compensation element, and I am going to use base pay as a default compensation element. which is a default compensation element in Workday. Now, base pay is every salary plan should be always assigned the base pay as a comp element, because salary plan will drive the base salary of the worker. So if it's a salary plan or an hourly plan, you should always assign base pay, and there is a reason for this, which I'll be explaining you when I will cover compensation basis concept. Apply FT percentage. Now, if you want to now, if you remember when I was showing you the Jack's profile yesterday, like let me just open Jack. F 100%. Now let's suppose this employee was a part-time employee and the percentage is just 50%. Now, do you want the employee's salary to be paid according to the full-time employee percentage? If yes, you will have to check it as apply FT percentage. So let's say if Jack was just a 50% full-time employee, when this compensation plan will be assigned for, let's say, $10,000 was assigned as a salary for this worker, and if he's just 50%, he'll be only paid 50% of it. So that will be like 50% of 10,000 will be 5,000. So that is what apply FT percentages. Now, eligibility rule. Now, this is a concept that we will cover today. So eligibility rule is nothing but how do you define the eligibility for the worker. So the eligibility rule will define uh, based on different criteria that we can define in the rule. It will determine if a specific compensation plan is eligible for assignment to a worker or not. Now, the task to create an eligibility rule is create compensation eligibility rule. This is how the eligibility rule will look like. So you can give a description in the rule. I'm just going to give meta salary plan eligibility. Now there is a source field. Now this is like you can have multiple criteria like this. For example, organization is a specific organization. Now these are all, this is called as a source field. Now in Workday you'll have different types of field where the data is stored. For example, all the organization data you can access from this field. So this field is a multi-instance field. It's a Workday delivered field, and it will return all the applicable organization and superior organization. So this field will contain all the organizational data. So I can query it. It's like an SQL in the background, but here you can intuitively create a rule like organization supervisor organization relational operator will be any in the selection list, and here from the selection list I can search for any organization. For now I'm just going to search for Jack Ma. There is a consulting organization. So if the employee is a part of Jack Ma Consulting Canada organization, he will be eligible for Meta salary plan assignment. You can have multiple criterias like you can put job profile as a criteria. So job profile is a specific, for example, the employee is from Jack Ma Consulting Canada and the job profile should be manager. You can look for a manager job profile, and he should be from Canada, or he should be an employee, he should be a citizen of Canada. So you can look for citizenship as a citizenship status is Canada. So you can create different types of rules like this. And if you want another criteria saying that if it is citizenship should not be United States. So employees who is citizen of Canada, or the employee is a citizen of, or employee is a citizen of US. Or you can create negation rules as well, like here in this criteria you can put any in the selection list or none in the selection list. So it's basically negation. Or you can put it as empty. So if there is a specific information that is not available, then you can put a negation, or you can include that rule. So that is the concept behind compensation
And what
eligibility
is
rule.
this? What is this side brackets? The two columns left and right.
Oh, okay. So let me just go back. Let me just open an existing compensation eligibility rule, and I'll explain you what is it. So I'm just going to open this test condition here. Now, if I have, I'm just going to edit this rule. So let's say I have a rule that says if the employee is from US or Canada, the employees from US or employees from Canada, and job profile is manager. So there is two rules. So what I can do is you can see there are brackets over here. So I can group a few criterias into one single group. Like I can put a job profile here. Let's take this for example, job profile. Come on. So now I'm creating a role like this. Job profile is manager. And location of the employee. Let's say location is Chicago.
It's a nested condition.
Yeah, you can create nested condition. It will be more, it makes more sense. So you can insert an already created condition as well into this. Let me just look for a field called this country. Okay, countries of location is United. From United States, he should be a manager to be eligible for this compensation plan. He should be a director. So I'm just going to create one more condition, same condition, but I'll just group it and show it how it works for you. So here I'm going to give India. I'm just going to give something like a director. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'm just going to this. There is already two brackets here. I'm going to put two more brackets here, and I'm going to change this to or. So how Workday is going to evaluate is it is going to first evaluate individual rows of conditions, saying okay, now there is an employee on which the transaction is being executed. It is going to check what is the country for USA. If the employee is from USA, it will return it as true. If the job profile is manager, it is not manager, it will return it as false. If the country of the employee is India, it will return as true or false. So here is going to return as false. If the profile is director, yes, true. Now it is going to compare true and true. It will become true, true and false. So it follows that truth table logic. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and based on this parenthesis, it is going to club. So the total result of these two will be
Can we do a
one.
double parenthesis? Can we do a double parenthesis also?
Yeah, you can create now. I'm going to create another rule that is going to just say that uh, or if the employee is from, or if the employee let me just say country, and if the employee is from Canada, he is eligible for this compensation plan. We don't have to check for any job profile. So I'm just going to put anything like in the selection list.
No
Yeah.
problem. I understood. You can go
You
ahead.
understood, right? So you can again club it all. So here you can put another here, and you can put 1 2 here, and you can click OK, and it will take it. Let's say I have put an extra here, and I did not put an extra over here. So now it is not right. It will not allow you to submit. It will say there is an error here. So it will say there is an error. Too many parentheses. So you'll have to put the right amount of parentheses. It will check. It will validate if the parenthesis is right or not, and then only it will allow you to submit it. And so this is how it is. What I want to basically explain is the eligibility rule will define the eligibility criteria of the worker. Now you can create a very complex eligibility rules. I have worked on eligibility rules that spans 240 rows of criteria. So you can create nested criteria like or you can have a very big chunk of conditions in one. And if this is not true, then you can have, and again, a big chunk of conditions that is going to check if the eligibility. Now there is just not compensation plans that we where we use compensation eligibility. We use it in a multitude of places, which I will show you in the upcoming sessions. But for now, we just understand the eligibility criteria will define if the employee is eligible for a specific compensation plan or not. Now, in this case, I'm just going to use an existing eligibility. So country is United States. So there should be a rule is going to check if the country is United States of America. So if you go and look into the rule, now you can check the rule this way as well. If you this three dots here, it is always either related actions, that what we call in Workday. So you can look for extra information or for any specific instance by clicking on these three dots, and here you can see what is the rule state. So it says all country of location is United States. So what this means is any employee who is from United States will be eligible for Meta salary plan, and you can create the salary plan.
This eligibility rule runs when actually? Is it like a batch process or how does that happen?
So that will happen. So whenever you are initiating a transaction, a business process transaction, that will happen. For example, you are hiring a worker. Let's say you are hiring a worker, and there are a number of compensation plans you see. Now there are in this tenant, you'll see like an insane amount of compensation plan because there are a lot of people that are using the same tenant. But let's say there are 10 compensation plans. Now for global projects where there are more than 20 30 countries or 100 and more than 100 countries, there will be different types of compensation plans for every country, or for every for different types of employees in each country. There will be different types of compensation plans. Now Workday, when at the time of whenever you are hiring a worker, this eligibility rule engine will run in the background to check the criteria for
Yes.
criteria of eligibility. So based on the
So
criteria
now,
only.
yeah, so when you do this US criteria, right, and then one Jack has been assigned to the US eligibility rule. So now you go to that US eligibility rule and modify to UK, the only the condition attribute. Then
Yes.
what will happen? So how does that get triggered?
So when you so Workday will check at the time of at the time of transaction what is maintained in that. If you
Yeah,
change it to UK, then it will become it will be eligible for only UK employees.
yeah, but this particular plan would have been assigned to Jack because Jack has been assigned this particular plan when he is associated with this comp plan, then he will automatically be eligible for US first. But you're changing the condition after he has been assigned. So is it like once a employee is assigned, you're gonna change the rule?
You can change it, and we'll come to that. We'll discuss that. And there is business processes that I'll discuss at the time of business process discussion. I will revisit this question. So for now you can just understand that whenever this is what the eligibility rule stands for.
Okay,
But I'll
okay.
come back to there. So first I'll explain the compensation plans. I'll just go through all the core compensation plans. So not
Sure.
merit bonus. We will again, merit is a very big discussion. There are a lot of now salary plan is a
No,
very
no, we,
basic. This is
we really wanted to understand this merit, bonus, and commission plans. Actually, these three things. Actually, how it is configured because commission is a very dynamic attribute. We wanted to understand these three things more.
yeah. So in order to understand merit, you will have to understand salary plans, because
No problem.
bonus and all, it is all derived from the salary. It is all derived from the compensation basis. So
Okay.
first, for you to understand compensation basis, you will have to understand the core compensation plans and how they are assigned and how these compensation basis will change for different business process. Or else I would have directly jumped into merit plans and explained
No, no,
advanced
no.
compensation, but it will be all Greek and Latin for you.
No problem. You mentioned you're going to skip. No, I just wanted to say not to skip that. You can go by the sequence. No problem.
Okay. All right. So that is about the salary plan, and the configuration for salary plan is pretty simple, very simple, because majority of the assignment and the currency, the frequency, everything will be assigning when we are hiring the worker. That is the first time when we'll assign the salary. So at the time of hiring, we'll see how the salary plan assignment happens. Now let's go to the next type of compensation plan, that is called hourly compensation plan. Now salary plans are assigned to salaried workers. So you can, whenever you are creating salary plan eligibility, you can also mention that the pay rate for the worker is salaried and not hourly. So you can have an explicitly mention that the pay rate is salaried. So you can have a pay rate like this. Pay rate is salaried. But when you are creating an hourly plan, this will be assigned to all the workers who are hourly workers. So let's look at hourly plan, and there are few more things that you can configure in hourly plan. So here is effective date. I'm going to again give the effective date as 1st of June, and meta hourly plan. Now eligibility, I'm again going to give country is United States. So I'm just going to put United States here. Now the comp element. Now I mentioned earlier it should always be base pay. So the salary plan and hourly plan should always have base pay as a comp element. Now you see there is an amount attribute here. We did not find that in salary plan, but in hourly plans you can mention the amount. Now you can leave it as 0. There is no problem. Or if you want to give, like for example, $10, you can put $10, or you can put any currency. As a matter of fact, if you want to put USD, you can put USD, or if you want to put GBP here, you can use pounds as a currency. I'm just going to use USD for now. Now the frequency, now this is going to define how the employee is going to get paid. Since this is an hourly plan, I'm just going to mention the frequency as hourly. All right. Now you see there is a attribute called as minimum wage. Now in countries like US, the federal laws will specify that it will mandate that there should be a statutory hourly payment for the worker. So I don't know what is it right now. I think it is $15 or something. I'm not really sure. But if there is any legal requirement where an employee, if hired on an hourly payment basis, he should be paid a minimum of $10. What you do is you'll mention $10 here, and you will check this minimum wage checkbox. Now what will happen is, whenever anyone initiates a transaction or assigns hourly plan for a worker, if this minimum wage is checked and if there is an amount mentioned here, that initiator cannot give a value less than 10 US dollars for that worker. He can give 20 or more than 10, but less than 10, Workday will give an error saying that the amount should not be less than $10. Now I will demonstrate this when we hire a worker, but for now this is what it is. What it means, minimum wage is going to determine what is a minimum wage. You can just uncheck this, and now even if you have $10 here, the person who is initiating can go ahead and give $5. Workday will not throw any error. He can also give like $1, it doesn't throw any error. But if you have mentioned $10 here, and if there is a minimum wage checked here, at least 10.01 should be given at the time of initiating the transaction. If you give less than 10 or equal to, if you give anything less than 10, Workday will throw an error saying that minimum amount that should be given or that should be assigned should be $10 per hour. So I'm just going to create this hourly compensation plan. Now the third type of compensation plan is called as allowance compensation plan. Now this is a little um, widely used because most of the companies will have a lot of allowance plans, and it's very localized. Like for every country there are different types of allowances for every country. So we'll look at the allowance plans. I'll come back to period salary and unit salary plans. So allowance plans is for any compensation plan that you don't want to pay it as a base salary. So anything additional than the base salary that you want to pay, you will pay it as an allowance plan. Now, for an example for allowance plans will be uh, let's say mobile allowance or housing allowance or travel allowances. So these are the different types of allowance plans. Internet allowance. Now nowadays, because of COVID, most companies have started giving monthly internet allowance for workers. So anything that you want to pay other than the base salary for the worker will come as a will be paid using allowance plans. So let's see how we can create an allowance plan very quickly. Create allowance plan. Now when you are creating allowance plan, you'll see that there are three types of allowance plans that you can create. You can create an amount based allowance plan, you can create a percentage based allowance plan, you can create a unit based allowance plan. Let us first look into the amount based allowance plan. So I'm just going to put the effective date as first. Now amount based allowance plan is nothing but, if you want to pay an amount to the worker, not a percentage, it's going to be a defined amount. So I'm going to create a meta internet allowance as a allowance plan. And this is again going to be United States, so I'm just going to keep it as very simple. Country is United States of America. Now the comp element. Now there is no mandatory that you have to use base pay as a comp element. You can use any compensation element for allowance plan. You can have a custom compensation element, or if there is an already a compensation element that you can use, you can go ahead and use that one. So for those who are on this call, I was explaining comp element. I'll just give a very quick overview of comp element. Comp element is nothing but a link between compensation and payroll. So let's say there is a compensation plan that has a comp element A. Now in the back end, you can assign a payroll code to this comp element. So let's say this is 1234. Now what Workday will do is if there is a if the worker is assigned a compensation plan and it has a comp element that has a payroll code, and if the worker is assigned some amount over here, what Workday does is it will send this amount to this payroll code, and there can be integrations that can be we can create integrations that will pick the value and push that value from Workday to the downstream systems. For example, there is SAP. So let's say there is a wage type WT 1234 that is tracking all the allowance plan amounts. So let's consider this scenario. I have three compensation plans. So there is compensation plan A. There is a compensation plan A. Now there is a compensation plan B. And B, and the compensation element is also B, comp ele B, and the payroll code here is also the same payroll code. So we are not using separate payroll codes. I'm just using same payroll code. The reason being, in let's say in SAP, WT1234 is a wage type that is going to populate, or that is going to have a sum of all the allowance amount that an employee is getting paid. So if the employee is getting paid an internet allowance of 500 and a mobile allowance of 500, this wage type will have 1000 as a total value that is going to get pushed from these two different comp elements. So there can be one comp element per compensation plan, or you can use the same comp element. For example, you can have the same comp element that can be used for multiple allowance plans. So it is like one to one can also be possible. There can be many to one possible. Many to many is also possible. All right. So I'm just going to use an existing comp element called allowance, and I'm just going to give 500. It's going to be too much. I'm just going to give 150 US dollars as an amount, an allowance amount, and the frequency is going to be monthly. Okay, if you want to apply full-time percentage here, so based on the full-time percentage, the employee will be paid accordingly. So if he's 50%, he's only going to get paid 75 out of this 150. So if you want to pay regardless, you can uncheck this. So in this case, I'm just going to uncheck it. No override. Now what this means is at the time of transaction, if the worker if the person who is initiating, for example, let's say an HR admin is initiating a request compensation change, that is a change to the compensation for the worker, and HR admin want to assign internet elements. Now at the time of assignment, the HR admin will see that it is 150 US dollars, but HR admin want to change this to 75. Now if I don't check this, the HR admin can go ahead and change it to 75. But if I check this box, the person will be initiating the transaction for the worker or assigning this compensation plan for the worker. They will not be able to change this value. So this value will now become hard coded. That means it cannot be overridden. Give me a second. Okay. So that is what no override means. If you check no override, this value cannot be overridden. Now we'll come back to exclude from merit when we are discussing the advanced compensation plans. So you can click OK, and now this compensation plan will be eligible for all workers in USA. Now, sorry about that. Now, this Meta Internet Allowance is now eligible for all workers in USA. Now, let's think like this. Now, this Meta Internet Allowance. Now, the global companies, they have a policy where all employees in every country are eligible for this allowance plan. Now, you don't you if you want to create, you have to create like multiple allowance plan, each allowance plan with the eligibility criteria saying that okay, countries United States, countries Canada. So you don't want to do that. So there is something called as allowance plan profiles. So if you want to create localized compensation values for different countries, like local, if you want to localize this for let's say for Canada, you want to create, you want to have a separate amount. For India, you want to have separate amount. You can have allowance plan profiles. So this is where you can create those profiles. Now let's say I want to have meta allowance created for Spain. So there is one for Spain. If it is Spain, I want to provide let's say 100 euros. And for if the employees from India, I want to provide 2000 rupees. If the employees from United Kingdom, I want to give him 90 pounds. Or if the employee is from Thailand, I want to give him 1500 baht. So now what will happen is if the employee is eligible for if the employee is from Spain, that employee will not be assigned 150 USD. He will be assigned 100 euros instead of 150 USD. So you don't have to create multiple allowance plan for your localization. You can have a single allowance plan, and then you can create multiple profiles and make a different profile eligibility, so that if the employee is satisfying one of these eligible criteria, the corresponding amount and currency will be assigned. Now, one of the things that you'll have to ensure is that these rules should be mutually exclusive. That means that one employee should not be eligible for two different profiles. If the employees should always be eligible for only one profile from the number of profiles that is listed out here. So it should always be mutually exclusive. Now I'll go into detail of this at the time of hiring the worker. Let me just cover one more compensation plan, that is a
So, Nikhil, just a small
yeah.
question in the previous page.
Yes.
So there is an overall eligibility rule that you're setting at the top for this, and then
Yeah.
you are doing an allowance plan profile. So, uh, are are the eligibility rules at the bottom supposed to be a subset of the top one, or
It should be
there's no?
subset. I'm glad that you asked that question. I was just thinking, why did nobody ask that question? So this is how it should not be set up. If it is countries United States, no employee will be assigned this. So there should always be there should be a subset of this eligibility rule. So how this should have been ideally set up is, since I did not create a meta organization, ideally we will create an eligibility rule that is going to query all the employees who are eligible for meta internet allowance, and for each, and we'll add another profile here that says if the country is United States, it is going to be 150 USD, and then we'll just make it as 0. So this is going to be a default. So how Workday does the transaction is, whenever an employees whenever the plan, this is called plan level eligibility, and this is called as the profile level eligibility. Okay, so how the Workday will determine the eligibility is, first it will check the plan level eligibility, and if and it will take all the employees who are eligible for this compensation plan. And if it has profiles, it will then go to the profile and check for all the profiles. So let's say there are 10 employees for which Workday is checking the eligibility, and it is going to check which employee is eligible for Spain, which employee is eligible for India, which employee is eligible for US, United Kingdom, which employee is eligible for Thailand. If the employee is eligible for one of these, it will assign it. If the employee is not eligible for any of these profiles, what Workday will do is it will assign whatever is in the default. So that's why this is called as elements defaults. I was about to revisit it once I explain you the percentage based elements plan. So I will show you the demo for all this. So what I'll do, so we covered salary, we covered hourly plan, we'll cover allowance plan, amount based allowance plan, and percentage based allowance plan. Then I'm going to explain you period salary plans. After that, I will explain you something, a concept called as compensation basis, and how compensation elements are used to calculate the value of compensation basis, the total compensation basis for a worker. And then I will start showing you business processes and demonstrate how how these defaulting and all will happen. All right, so I'm taking you step by step. Any other questions now?
I'm good.
Go ahead, go ahead.
All right, so this was an amount based allowance plan. If I want to create a percentage based, so now there are certain allowances that you can create a percentage based allowance. So let me just create a percentage based allowance plan. Now this is going to be a housing allowance, so meta housing allowance plan. Now here I'm just going to put as United States again. We'll change it later if you want. Okay, now here we have something called as compensation basis. For now, don't just skip this for now. I'll explain what is compensation basis. The element here, I'm just going to give element as the element. So again, you can have a custom, if you want to create a meta housing allowance plan comp element, you can always go ahead and create that, and just using something pre-existing. Now here I'm going to give it as 10%, let's say 5%. Okay, and it is going to be paid monthly to the worker. Now what will happen is 5% of the total base pay. So whatever value will be populated in total base pay, 5% of that will be the meta housing allowance plan for the worker. So for now, let's assume, now I'll come back to total base pay later, but let's just assume total base pay that is assigned to the worker is 100,000. Okay, now if meta housing allowance is assigned to the worker, 5% of 100,000, that is going to be 5,000. 5,000 or 500. This will be eligible for the worker. So this is how it is going to calculate. 5% of 100,000 is going to be eligible for the worker. Now again, if you want it to be not overridable, you can select this. So this cannot be overridden, it will always be 5%. If you want anyone to change this, so later at the time of assignment, if you want to give like 15% or 7%, if you don't check this box, it can be done. There is a ceiling amount and ceiling currency, which is nothing but for if you want, if that, let's say like we have these offers and all, right? We'll have like the 150% discount, but the max value should be max discount will be 100. Okay, so similarly to that, there is a 5% allowance, but the maximum that you can avail will be, let's say, 5,000 only. So that is a ceiling amount. How much ceiling amount? And you have to provide a currency over here for ceiling amount. Now this can again be localized, like here. For every country, you can have an eligibility rule, a compensation basis on which this percentage is calculated. So you can, let's say for India, you have For Indian employees, you have 10% allowance, 10%, and ceiling currency is INR, and the max you can avail is let's say just 10,000. You cannot avail more than 10,000. So regardless of how much the employee is earning, the max he can avail from this allowance plan is 10,000. Like similarly, you can have one profile for every country, and so again the same concept goes into the eligibility rule. This should be the profiles should be a subset of this, or else when Workday doesn't check. So if it is a subset or not, you will have to define it accordingly, or else what happens is Workday will not correctly default the values for the workers. So the configuration should be the person who is creating this should be cognizant of what is the eligibility rule that is giving, and if these rules are the right subset or not. So that is about percentage based allowance plan. Let us quickly I'm just going to remove this for now. I'm not defining any ceiling amounts. Okay. So we created percentage based allowance plan. Now let's look into the period salary plans. Now there are certain countries like let's say Philippines and a few other countries where we have something called as a period salary. Now period salary is nothing but some countries will have this policy where the employees in that company or employees who are working in that organization, they'll get a additional 1 month of salary. So let's say there is a 13-month salary plan. What will happen is the workers will get 1 month extra salary, so they won't have this concept of variable bonus and all. They will have a concept of period salary that is like a guaranteed. So once a year they will get an additional month of salary as payment. Now this payment can will be distributed throughout the year. So if you give it as a monthly, it will be distributed throughout the year. So let's see how the configuration for this plan goes. So create period salary plan. Okay, so here I'm just going to give meta 13-month salary, and I'm going to define the eligibility rule as Philippines. So I just want to for the employees who are from Philippines will be eligible for this. Okay. Now here the comp element. Now again you can mention the comp element as if you want this to be part of the base pay or the part of the base salary, you can define it as base pay, because when you say this is a part of their salary, you have to mention it as base pay. But if the client don't want it to be a part of the base pay, they can always provide some other comp element. So I'm just going to put base pay here. Okay, the period multiplier. Now period multiplier is nothing but how on what basis the periods are getting. I mean, let's say the period is going to be monthly here, month. Now how many additional month of salary this employee is going to get? So I'm just going to put one here. So one extra month of salary, this employee is going to receive an additional month of salary. If it is going to be a 16-month salary plan, that means in a year there are 12 months, and the additional that is going to be paid for the worker is 4 additional months. So this period multiplier is going to become 4, and the compensation basis you'll have to define as total base pay. 4 additional month of salary the employee is going to get. Let's say I want, if this is for daily workers or hourly workers, uh, meta I'm just going to put 10 daily period salary. So let's assume there are workers who are paid on a daily basis. So the number of days they are going to work, they are going to get paid that much. So I have a policy in Philippines where the employees who are working in Meta, they are going to get 10 days of additional payment in a year. So what how we configure this, we'll make it as 10, and this is good. The period is going to be day. So 10 days of additional amount per year they are going to get. So that is the overall concept behind the period salary plan. Now you can have different types of period salary plans. For example, you can create something like I have created something like 13.842 period salary plan, and the period multiplier is like 1.842. So this is always calculated on an annual basis. Now how much what amount, or what is the multiplier like for if we subtract 13.842 from 12, the extra is 1.842. So this much of month salary will be extra will be paid to the worker. So that is how the calculation happens. Now how much is the amount, it is again calculated on top of the total base pay of the worker. So the total base pay will get calculated, and then on top of that the period salary will calculate what is 1.842 per month for the total base pay that the employee is eligible for.
So
So
the
for
frequency of payment for this allowance will be dependent on the compensation element, right? So if compensation element itself is monthly, then this thing also gets paid monthly.
the compensation period, not element. Element is a very different concept altogether. I explained yesterday.
Yeah, yeah,
So element,
I remember that. So what you're saying is, if I say, for example, there is an entire year of 365 days, right?
uh,
So
uh,
I
uh,
want to pay someone 20 days worth of extra salary. So
yes,
in this case, I will put 20 in compensation period multiplier and compensation period as a day. But
yes,
does that mean that I'm not getting paid daily, right? So my question is, if this extra money is being given as an allowance, what
Mm.
is it? What
It is
frequency
not
is
an
it given?
element. It is not.
It will be
It will be distributed throughout the year. So how the policy works is, let's say when at the time of hire, the HR says that you will be you will eligible for 12 lakhs, let's say. Okay, so 1.2 million. This is what you're eligible for. This is your amount, and you are going to get 1 month additional pay. So that is how much one
Let's take a random example of 20 days additional pay, just for this example.
20 days.
20 days.
Let's take 1 month, 13 month salary. No, it will be easy for you to understand.
Fine.
13
But
months salary. Okay.
yeah,
So that is, so 13 month, as per this, every month 1 lakh and an additional 1 month. Okay. So that is 13. Now how the employee is going to get paid, this will be his total base pay based on the period salary that is assigned, and 13,000 divided by 12 will be what employee will be paid every month. So it won't be 1 lakh per month. It will be a little more than 1 lakh. So it will be distributed throughout the year.
agreed. So that's fine. My point is, whenever you create an overall compensation plan for a person, like if a person has
Mhm.
multiple elements in his compensation, right? Some of them might be monthly, them might be 6 monthly, for example. Some of them might be yearly. A
Uh,
single
uh,
person might have multiple items.
yes.
Now, I'm creating a component like this, a period salary plan, for example. I want to pay that person that value. So, for example, take Diwali bonus in India. So,
Mhm.
factories have Diwali bonus as 1 month pay that is
Uh,
paid during Diwali,
uh,
right? So, it is not divided among 12 months.
uh.
That value, so that means in October you will get 2 months salary. Every month you will get 1 month salary. That is as per the law. Now, if
So
I am
that you can,
supposed to configure that, how will I go about it?
so that will not be configured as a period salary plan. So you
Okay.
understand, period salary plan is specifically for countries that use period salary. That's why I use Philippines, and there are a few more countries that have this concept of period salary, where it will be included as a part of their compensation. They won't have bonus and all.
So in
Uh,
case of period
because
salary plan, that means the frequency of payment of this particular item, this
it will
extra
be
item will.
determined from grade profile. There is a separate concept. So how the employee, what is the frequency of payment? So you remember when we created a salary plan, we did not mention any frequency. You remember?
Yes, we did not.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So that is determined from something called as grade profile. That I'll come to these concepts later. Slowly I'll come to these concepts. So that is so when the grade from that grade profile, we will determine the frequency of payment of salary. Now, allowance plan frequency is not determined, or it is not dependent on the frequency of his salary. So the employee, if the employee is getting paid hourly, the employee can also be assigned a compensation allowance plan, which will be paid monthly once. Okay,
Yes.
that is also possible. So it doesn't there is no such caveat where, if the worker is getting paid allowance plan monthly, all his compensation component should be monthly only. It can be different as well.
So in that the page that we were going through currently, no, the next to it, right to it, allowance, create allowance plan. So I can see there is a frequency here, right? So for this one, so period plan in itself will never have that. That's what you're saying.
No, it will never have it will be determined based on the salary. So it will be determined from that base pay.
Okay,
Okay. So
got it.
for hourly, so if it's an hourly worker, the period salary plan itself will be a 10 a daily 10-day extra salary, like something like that. It depends. And that's why you'll see only three type of periods here. One is monthly, daily, and one is week.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So that's about the this period salary plan. Now let us discuss compensation basis. Give me 1 second. Just give me a second. Let me just open a Google sheet. Okay. All right. So let me show you to better explain you the concept of compensation basis. I'm going to do this. So there are compensation plans. Okay. So there is, let's say, there is a salary plan. Okay. And the element that we use in salary plan is base pay. Okay. We have three allowance plans: allowance plan A, allowance plan B, allowance plan C, and then we also have a period salary plan here. Okay. Now, for allowance plan, we have allowance as a compensation element. Allowance. And for period salary plan, I'm again using base pay. Um, now let's assume the amount for this salary plan is 10,000. Okay. The amount of allowance paid for this is 500, this is 500, and this is 1000. And again, the period salary plan is, again, let's say it is totaling up to around 1000 overall. Now, what is going to be the total base pay is nothing but, so what total base pay is going to calculate is the total amount of components that is using base pay as the comp element. So whatever compensation component are going to use base pay, that is going to get added, and it will total to a total base pay. So here in this case, we only have two compensation plans that is using base pay. Now, base pay is a delivered workday compensation basis, and there should be at least one compensation plan that should be assigned to the worker, that is a base pay. So every worker should have at least one salary plan or an hourly plan, and it should be a base. It should use base pay as a complement. So that is going to be the base salary for the worker. Now here the total base pay for this worker is going to be 10,000 plus 1000. So that is going to be the total base for the worker, and the allowances are again paid separately and tracked with a different compensation element. Now let's just suppose there is nothing that is stopping you from having an allowance as well as a base pay. So you can also include an allowance into base pay. So what will happen is, this is going to also have this as a, so it is going to be 11,000. So 10,000 plus 500. No, no, I think I did not add that.
11,500. Yeah.
It's going to be 11,500.
So
It is
I
going to
think
be
you also added some different types of base pay, no? What is that base pay underscore one, and what are those? How are they different?
base pay underscore one. Where did I add?
Just search for base pay in the compensation element, edit compensation element and search for base pay.
In compensation. There is only one base pay. And
When
there
you
will
try to
always be
input
only.
when you try to input the compensation element, there are multiple base pays.
Oh, it is not multiple base pay. Those are all multiple compensation element. Now somebody might have created multiple element with the same name called as base pay, because this is a test system, and students will do
So
different kind of.
how does that, how does this, which is the base pay in that? Is that an attribute in the element?
So there can only be one base pay. I mean, so that's why they put underscore to differentiate it. You cannot have
It is just
two
based on
bases
the
with the
name.
same.
It's just based
Yeah,
on the
based on
name.
it's just, so it is just a this is comp element for compensation folks, is just a text field,
Hmm.
and they, it is used for tracking. Mainly this is used by payroll folks. So people who
Okay, okay.
handle payroll, what they do is they will go and check which comp element is assigned to the compensation plan, and I want to pull the value that is getting paid for the employee in that compensation. If they want to pull that value, they will put these payroll codes here. So these are called payroll earnings, and in these payroll earnings there will be payroll codes, and that payroll code will be sent to SAP, which will be the, let's say SAP is a payroll vendor. It will be sent via that payroll code to SAP, and the wage type in SAP will get value from this complement. So that is how the integration works.
Okay.
Understood? Okay.
Understood. Understood.
So you see, that's why we have only one base pay. I cannot put another base pay here, because it will say that okay, there is already something base pay is already existing. That's why you see 1101 underscore base pay. So it's just a text based field, and you cannot have two compensation element with the same name. It should all be unique. All
Okay.
right. So coming back to this example, so it will become 11,500. Now let's just assume this this percentage based elements plan. You remember we provided something called as 5% here. Now, how does Workday calculate 5%? Now, if I just go back to that compensation plan here, so let us just go and search. So compensation plans is the task where you can search for all the compensation plans in this tenant. So since this has a lot of compensation plans, it will just take some time. So we created a meta percent elements, right? Meta housing. So there is meta housing elements. I'm just going to open this compensation plan, and then you see that it is 5% of what the basis is total base pay. So how does it calculate? So it's going to calculate 5% of total base pay. So that is going to be 5% of 11,500. So this employee is going to get 575 because his base pay is 11,500. If this is not a base pay, so we have put allowance plan A as base pay. If it is something called like allowance, now the base pay will not have 11,500, it will just have 10,000 plus 1,000, that is going to be 11,000. So this is going to be 11,000, and accordingly this value will change. So here it is going to be 550. So this is how Workday will calculate for percentage based compensation plans. It is going to calculate on top of like 5% of a total base pay here. So this is how it is how this is how percentage based plans work. Now we have different types of percentage based plans. Even merit plans and bonus plans will also have percentage based. So just this is how that calculation happens. So it is going to take one basis as a total value, and 5% of that total basis will be calculated as total base pay. Okay, now let's discuss a bit more deeper into total base pay as a concept. Okay, so let me just go and open compensation basis. Anything you want to search, you can just search for compensation. You see all the tasks for comp basis. So maintain compensation basis. Now, when I open maintain compensation basis, you'll see that there are three compensation bases that says delivered compensation basis. So these are the three compensation bases that are already delivered in Workday by Workday. These are default given by Workday. If you want to create a separate compensation basis, a custom compensation basis for your own requirement, for your own reporting purpose, you can create a custom comp basis, and we'll see how to create that as well. Now let's discuss about total base pay. Now, as I said earlier, total base pay is nothing but it is going to sum all the salary and allowance plans that are defined as base pay. So all the compensation plans that use the comp element base pay. So here it is allowance. If it is base pay, it is going to add all that whatever the value is in that compensation plan that is assigned to the worker, and it will become the total base pay for the worker. The second delivered compensation basis is called as total salary and allowances. So this is nothing but, as the name goes, all the salary plans and all the allowance plans that are assigned to the worker. So in this case, if I look, it is just salary plan. So I have all the base pay plans. So it is going to be 10,000 plus 1,000 and all the salary plans. So it is going to just add 10,000 plus this plus this plus this plus this. This is going to be his total salary and allowances as the name goes. So if I just go and check Jack's profile here, Jack Taylor's profile, and if I go and see his compensation, you'll see that there is a total base pay and there is a total salary and allowances. So if you go and see here, the total base pay here, if I go and open this general salary plan, you'll only see that only this compensation plan has a base pay defined here. And what the value that is defined for this compensation plan is 176,112.86, and that is the reason you'll see the total base pay is this. And for these compensation plans, you see there is a separate compensation element altogether. So it's an allowance. Now what will happen? Let me see if I can for this compensation plan. So what if I just change this to base pay? Okay. So if I change this to base pay, the value that is that is populating here should have an additional 500, right? So if I just refresh this, let's see if the value changes. So naturally the value got automatically changed because now there are two compensation plans that is having base pay here. Now you see the salary, total salary and allowances and total base pay is same. The reason is we only have two compensation plans assigned to the worker, and one is a salary plan and one is an allowance plan. So that's why you see total salary and allowances here. Now some organizations would only like to keep just total base pay for reporting. Only some organizations will have total salary and allowances. So this field can be hidden tenant wide. So if you can, there is a task, you can check tenant wide settings here. So if you go to edit tenant, edit tenant settings and edit HCM setup, and if you go to compensation here, you'll see there is hide total salary and allowances. So if you go ahead and hide this, it will no longer show up for this worker. So only total base pay will be visible for the worker. So let's see that. See, only total base pay will be available, and total salary and allowances will not be visible. And this is going to affect all the employees. So it's not just Jack, the tenant wide, all the employees that are in this tenant or in this organization. So it's like a global setting, not a localized country level setting. So some companies they don't want to track salary and allowances. They just want to see the total base pay of the worker. So that's about total salary and allowances. Now eligible earnings override, we will discuss this when we discuss merit, but I'll give you an overview of an introduction of what this is. Now let's say Jack has 202,112.86. So he has about 2 lakhs of 200,000 something USD as a total base pay. And let's say I am doing some kind of I'm doing a review cycle for this worker, and I want to override this. So I don't want to calculate the merit plan for the worker on top of total base pay. So we discussed some time back, right? If I give a percentage based plan, it is going to calculate on top of the total base pay. So here it is calculating 5% of total base pay. So if I don't want that, I want Workday to calculate this on top of, let's say, 15,000. Now there is the worker is not getting paid 15,000, but I want this 5% to be calculated on top of this compensation basis. So that is where we get this concept of eligible earnings override. So this is like an employee level. So you will have to do a CSV upload. We discussed yesterday inbound EIBs, right? So you'll put so for those employees, you will do an eligible earnings override and you'll load it via EIB. And for all those workers, you will see a different amount being populated instead of the total compensation basis. And on top of that, the merit and bonus will be calculated for the workers. So that's about eligible earnings override. We'll revisit this topic when we are going into advanced compensation. All right. So
This
before
compensation basis is only for displaying the summary, or is it for other purpose as well?
it is for reporting purpose generally. So whenever you are initiating when you are giving a salary salary increase, you want to see how much the employee is getting, like the total, what is the total amount the employee is receiving. So you will track it via total base pay. Some company, because most for I'm not talking about India, but other companies, they have a bottom up approach of calculating salary. So they have a salary and they have allowances that are again paid separately, so it's not a part of the salary. So that's why we have a total base pay is only going to consider all the compensation plans that are salary. But when it comes to India, we have like a concept of CTC. So don't compare this with CTC. So this is basically there for reporting purpose. So whenever somebody is initiating a transaction, like changing the salary of the worker, and they will look at the total base pay doesn't exceed so and so, and how much is the current total base pay, and so those kind of things. So it's primarily for reporting purpose, the total base pay. So it is basically just a calculating whatever is getting assigned to the worker. Okay. All right. All right. So we discussed different types of there are three types of compensation basis. Now, before we go into configurable compensation basis, let us go and try to hire a worker, so that I'll show you how the compensation is going to get. How do we assign compensation for a worker? So let me just find a supervisory organization. I'm just going to use this employees supervisory organization, and I see there is one there is an unfilled position. So let us try to hire a worker into this position. So before that, I'm just going to make a small change here. Now this is again, so that we don't waste time. So I don't want to go through the entire big business process. I'm just going to create a custom business process just for this organization. That's what I'm doing. So this comes as a part of HCM. So I'm just going to add another step called propose request compensation. Propose compensation. I explained the business process in a separate session, but for now I'm just going to demonstrate how the hiring works. Okay. So this is called a business process. Here you can define the complete workflow for any a separate process. For example, a hire process, how the employee is getting hired. We can define a workflow. Now you see here it is a very small, basic, just two steps, but there are usually 25-30 steps that goes into hiring a worker. There are a lot of things that you can define. Just for convenience purpose, I just put two simple steps here. Just going to make it as a completion step. Just go back quickly to Jack's profile here. Okay, now we'll go here and we'll hire a worker on this position here. HRIS analyst 3. So hire worker. Here you can search for pre-hires if there are any pre-hires created. So I'm just going to search with name called Jack if there are any pre-hires. So before you even hire a worker, you'll have to create a pre-hire. Let me just check if any of these workers can be used for this position. And I'm going to hire him as of today's date. And here we have to specify reasons. I'm just going to specify a new hire, new position, worker type. So he is a full-time worker, a regular worker. Regular worker, the job profile. I'm going to select one of the job profiles. So from one of these job families, I'm just going to use. Let me just check if there is any HRIS.
Position should have the job profile, no?
Position and job profile are both different. There can so now.
Okay, they
Yes.
can be there, they cannot be there as well. Okay.
Yeah. So I discussed yesterday, right? So in a position, for this specific organization, let me just retry that for all the
Understood,
members.
understood. Yeah, go ahead, go. Understood. I think let's go.
Okay. Time type full time. Location. I'm just going to use New York. Some of the locations in USA. New York, and pay rate. I don't have to give any workspace. I'm just going to put pay rate as salaried, just like that. Okay. And I'm going to submit this transaction. Now we're going to reassignment. This employee has no worker, no manager or what. Just proxy. Let me just initiate this again. 1 second. Let me again start that hire for Jamila. Just using. Okay, so it came to Nathan Kellogg, so it came to me again. So here I can assign the compensation for the worker. So this is how the compensation, assignment screen looks like. Now there are a lot of things like package, grade profile. We'll come back to that. For now, I'm just going to show you the salary assignment. So I'm just going to search for meta salary plan. Here I'm just going to assign a grade and a grade profile. For now, I'm just going to assign 100,000 here, and frequency is annual. And here I'm just going to select the compensation package. So random comp package and a random compensation grade like this, and the allowances that we can add some allowances to the worker. So we created 2 allowances, right? So I'm just going to add one meta housing allowance and one meta allowance. Now you remember when we created these allowance plans, the meta housing allowance. So let me just go back to that allowance plan. The meta housing allowance, the no override was not checked. So that's why when you are initiating, when you are going through this transaction, you can change this to 10% or 7%, and Workday will allow it. But for meta internet elements, you remember we did not put, we have put that no override checkbox. So you cannot, this amount cannot be edited. This is like a hard coded value, and any employee will be assigned to this specific compensation plan will be paid 150 for sure. So there is no way to edit it. We have also created a period salary plan. Let me just add a period salary plan here. 13. I'm just going to use this period salary. Let me just check the same way that we created 13-month salary. So the period multiplier will be 1 and it is months. I'm just going to use this period salary plan for now, and I'm just going to submit this transaction. So it shows as success, and if we go and check the employee details here, Jack Miller, now you'll see a lot of details already populating. And if I go to the compensation, you'll see that we have assigned a salary plan, so that is 100,000 USD. There is a 13-month salary plan, so 1 month total base pay, and this is a biannual. Okay, we'll come back to that. There is a meta housing elements plan, so 7% of the total base pay and meta internet elements 150. So we did not put this as element is still allowance, so that's why you won't see that 7% in this total base pay. You're only seeing whatever is in this 100,000 US dollars. If I go and make this as base pay, you'll see that value coming here. Or even better, let me just go to the tenant settings and change that. So edit tenant settings. So edit tenant setup. Let's see here. I'm just going to enable uh, total salary and allowances. Now you'll see the total base pay is different, and the total salary and allowances for Jack Miller will be having both the allowance plans as well. So 100,000 is the total base pay, and this total salary and allowances will be a combination of all the salary plans and allowance plans that is assigned to the worker. So that is 100,000 plus 7% plus 150. Now for the period salary plan, let me just check what happened. So the compensation basis here is total base pay and 1 month. So 1 month of total base pay biannual.
Okay, Nikhil, I
Right.
understood this actually concept. It's okay.
Okay. So this is how you can this is a general example, a very basic way of how a higher transaction happens. Now generally higher transaction will have a lot more steps in that. You can change the assignments, and you can add change contracts and all. But I just showed you the compensation part of it. Now there is something called as compensation package, grade, and grade profile. Now before we go assigning the compensation for the worker, we had to manually go and search for the specific compensation plan and then assign it. Now, what if we want these compensation plans to automatically default based on the eligibility rule? Now, defaulting is a very important feature, and most ERP systems will always have a defaulting feature, because the admins who are doing this transaction, they don't want to sit and think like which compensation plan this worker should be assigned to. The system should do that job for them. So that's why we use a defaulting feature. So we use compensation package for that. But before we go into compensation package, let us discuss what is a compensation grade and what is a compensation grade profile. Now, a grade is something that is going to define the range of compensation that a specific employee is going to get. Now, there will be different grades in organization. Now, every organization will have, some organizations will call it as bands, some organization will call it as levels. So, different levels of employee will be eligible for a different compensation. So, we can define what is a range that employee is eligible for. For example, an employee who is a level 5 will be eligible for, let's say, 120,000, a minimum of 120,000 to a maximum of 300,000, let's assume. And an employee who is on level 7 will be eligible for a minimum of 500,000 to a maximum of 1 million. All right.
Of what?
So the
Of bonus or what is that range?
amount compensation.
The
So
base
if I
range. Okay, the range. Okay, it can
yeah, the
be.
range of, so how much the employee should be paid, what is the minimum that employee should be paid, what is the maximum that the employee can be paid. So if I go to this employee, you see the base pay range. So this employee should be paid a minimum of 8, it is eligible for a minimum of 85,000. So when this is like an analytic and a range for this grade. So any employee who is part of management grade and a USA grade profile, this is the range. So he should be paid a minimum of 85,000 US dollars and a maximum of 135,000 US dollars. Now there is no we can create validations and hard stops and errors if somebody is trying to assign more than that. But this is just for a analytic purpose. So when somebody is initiating the transaction, they will see, okay, for this employee, for this grade, this is the range. So they will have to give a value that is inside that range. If they go outside that range, either they want to change the compensation grade, or sometimes they can go outside of the range. So different organizations have different policies around it. But this is to just make you understand what is a grade. So grade will define the range, the pay range for a worker. So we can define
So
multiple we can have
how is the grade? How is the grade created? Is it the
yeah.
same as job profile or a different?
I'll show you. So there is a task called as create compensation grade. So create compensation grade is a task for creating grades. And now here again, you can provide an effective date. And this is called pay range segments. Yeah, I'll come back to pay range segments in some time. So I'm just going to click OK here. Now this is how the grade setup looks like. Here you have to provide the grade name. So I'm just going to give meta compensation grade manager. Okay, so this is for a manager. Let's assume the base pay element. Here you can give standard base pay, or even base pay is fine. You can provide the base pay here. So the grade will be base pay. The eligibility rule, again, I'm just going to provide United States. Now this here I'm just going to put Jackma, so that when I explain you the concept of a grade profile, I don't want to confuse you. The currency, for now I'm just going to put USD as a default currency, and frequency as annual. Okay. Now here is where we define the range. What is the minimum that any employee who's assigned to meta compensation manager grade, what is the minimum that employee is eligible for, and what is the maximum that employee is eligible for. Now what you see here is segment 1 top, segment 2 top. This is for like again analytics purpose. So you can determine uh, so the employee will not be employee will be somewhere between the minimum and the maximum. So you can determine at which segment this employee is. So like it's like a quadrant basically. Okay, this employee is reaching the fourth quadrant, so you can set up rules in the background that will say if the employee is between third and fourth segment, he is eligible for a promotion, so he should be promoted in the next hike cycle. So we can see this segment information in the review cycle as well. So which segment is this employee in, and if he is in this specific segment, and we might want to promote this worker, something like that. So these kind of information can be passed down to advanced compensation as well. So here I'm just going to define something like 70,000 US dollars, and the maximum will be segment top, that is going to be 150,000, let's say. Okay, now the rest of the values can be calculated automatically, like by clicking on calculate segments. So the minimum is 700,000, segment 1 top will be 90,000, segment 2 top is 110,000, and the segment 4 the maximum, and here is a midpoint of segment of the minimum maximum. This is a midpoint. Now we can click OK, and the compensation grade has been created. So this is how we create a compensation grade. Now companies can have multiple compensation grades for different level of employees. So there is a manager level, there is an individual contributor, there is engineers, associate engineers, senior engineers. So for different levels of employees, companies might
So
create different compensation grades. Yes.
when you say managers for a new
Hmm.
hire, how does that happen actually? Grade association as a manager, which grade he has to be assigned for?
That is determined using the eligibility rules. So you can create compensation eligibility rules. So when I explained comp eligibility, I told you compensation eligibility is not just for compensation, it can be also used for compensation grades as well. So when you create a compensation grade, you will define that. Okay, if the employee is from this specific country, and if the job profile is something like a manager job profile. Now if the employee is getting hired as a manager, you'll be hiring on that manager job profile, right? So you can define that eligibility here, you know. So let's see what is this eligibility that we have here. So here it says job profile is Jack Ma consulting manager. So if the employee is assigned to a job profile that is a consulting manager job profile, you can have this. And there are a variety of variety of criterias that you can use
What does
for creating.
job profile bracket? What is compensation?
So what this means is this is for compensation. This specific source field, it contains all the job profiles, and it is optimized to be used for compensation eligibility rules.
Okay.
So Workday in the backend has a concept. It is designed using object oriented system. So everything is an object, and everything is an instance of object. So in this specific object there are multiple this is a repository of all the job profiles in Workday, and this is optimized for using in compensation eligibility rules. If you're using it in some other, let's say you are using you want to pull the job profile in one of the, there are absence rules, there are talent, different modules are there. So in different modules, if you want to use job profile for some reason, there will be a job profile, but you'll see talent here. It is optimized for that specific module to be used there.
Okay.
Here,
But
because
the
job profile in itself,
value will come from the job profile only, object only, the
job
same
profile
value.
only. So for the worker, yeah, from that current transaction itself, it will pull that job profile value. It will not pull it from what we say. It is basically a repository. It is optimized for compensation, but it will pull the same value either even there for talent as well as compensation. And a lot of these
Okay.
are HCM concepts. So that's why I'm touching on HCM at places, and
Okay.
there are a lot of other ways you can determine. There is something called as a management level. So similarly to grade, you can also have management levels. Now you can create different types of management levels, like individual contributor, supervisor. Now there is manager, senior manager, director, senior director, executive vice president. Those are different types of management levels. Now you can have grade profile eligibility created such that if the management level is manager, then he is eligible for this grade. If the management level is executive, then he will be eligible for some of those grades that are executive grades. All right.
One question
Sure.
is that anyway, for a worker, you are assigning only one grade. Why do you
Hmm.
require an eligibility rule? Because if you assign anyway, if you're assigning and the eligibility is not eligible, then it is going to nullify that, right?
I didn't understand the question.
No, no. In the work now, you're in the higher worker. It's not a multi-choice, right? Or it's not automatic. You still need to select one grade compensation grade for that worker, right?
It can be automatic.
It will automatically assign.
Yes, it can be automatically assigned, and that's why I told you when before. So when I created, we had to manually select. Now we can use compensation package to default it. Now compensation package, if I just open this compensation package, it will have all the compensation plans. So it will have all the comp plans, compensation grades, plans that it want to default. And since it has compensation grades, I thought let me first explain what is a comp grade before we
Okay,
go into comp package.
okay, okay, got it.
All right. So this is a comp package. Now let's say uh, we have a grade, we have a compensation grade created for grade manager. Now this grade manager is common across 20 or 30 countries. Now I want to have a different, now I cannot have the same range for all the workers, right? For all the managers, they won't be getting paid the 70,000 US dollars. If it is in India, it may be some, maybe 15 lakh is the minimum. It's a different value. It's not 70,000 US dollars. So if you want to create a localization similar to what we did for allowance plans, we created different profiles, right? Spain, United Kingdom, like that. So similarly, for compensation grade as well, we can have different profiles. That we call it as compensation grade profiles. Now each profile can have a different minimum and maximum values. Now it is not necessary that we create profiles only for different country localizations. You can have it for a multitude of criterias. Like if the employee, if for employees in a specific organization will come under a specific grade, and in that grade profile you can have a grade profile for different levels. So if the employee is a supervisor and he is in this specific location, he will be given this specific this is his minimum and maximum. Let's say for India, in India we have there is a company in India, and they have locations in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai. Now the cost of living in Mumbai is different in cost of living in Hyderabad and Bangalore. So they ideally pay more amount for the managers in Mumbai compared to what they pay in Hyderabad. So even for the same country, you can have different criterias based on the location and the regions the employees are currently working from, and you can have different profiles created that way. The only caveat here is, again, all the profiles that are part of the compensation grade or an allowance plan, it should be mutually exclusive. There should not be two at any point in time. There should not be two grade profiles or two elements profiles the employee is eligible for. Now
Will it error out or will it assign both of them?
it will come to the default. And now since we are already top of the hour, but in the next session, what I'll do is I will create some setup, all the demo setup, so that we don't have to sit and create all this. I will have a demo setup created, and next session I will do the entire demo of the compensation grade profile. So I will have a few grades created. I'll have an organization called Meta created in this tenant, and I'll have some setup already in this tenant, so that I can demo this entire functionalities to you, how it is getting defaulted automatically, and if it is not mutually exclusive, how Workday reacts to that kind of config, and if it is mutually exclusive, how will Workday automatically default it. So all that I will take you through in the next session. All right. So that will give you more clarity around how this rules engine is working in the background. Okay.
Typically, a
uh,
compensation package is one per role, or it's like what defines as compensation package?
So compensation package is like so let's say you can have, so some company, some projects will have just one comp package, some projects will have multiple compensation package. So whatever you put in the compensation package will be eligible for defaulting. Okay, so let's say you want now it is not necessary that all the grades and all the compensation plans will be eligible for a worker. Now here you see 28 compensation plans. Out of these 28 compensation plans, a worker is eligible for 3 compensation plans. But if you put these compensation plans and grades in this compensation package, and if you and you will define an package level eligibility. So all employees who are eligible for this compensation package, they'll be they can be default, the comp grades and compensation plans can be defaulted from this list of whatever we put in this comp package. So from here it will start defaulting. I will slowly take you through this, and it will make more sense when I demonstrate this to you. All right, so I will take you through all this in the following sessions, so that you will have a very good understanding of what is a compensation package, how this defaulting works. If I don't put here, what will happen, and in what scenarios we'll put compensation plans into compensation package, and in what scenarios we don't put compensation plans into compensation package. So all this I will discuss in the next session when I will be doing the demonstration. So in that session, once I complete the demonstration, you can ask any doubts you have and I'll clear it off. Right now it might be a little confusing for you.
Okay, no problem.
Any other questions? Any feedback that you have for me?
It's good. Maybe only thing is we try to, like you mentioned, keep it prepared so that we can focus more on the content. Now we are
Yeah,
creating things, right? So
yeah. So the next, I'll have some demo setup. I got this tenant pretty late, so I could not set up demo. I just got it one day before this session, but no problem. Since we are discussing the initial concepts in the next session, so next session will be what, on Friday, right? Friday or Saturday, right? 25th.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, so Saturday I'll take an extended session anyway because it's a weekend, and that day I will take you through the entire demo. So by the end of the session, you will have a very good understanding of some business processes, and I'll also explain you what is a business process, and so we can have a very good discussion with a lot of demonstrations on Saturday. So I'll have something set up
one is business
already on
process and
Saturday.
one is the security. How who can create, how they can create, who can see, or the
Oh,
comp
wait
package.
a second, 1 second, Karthik. Uh, is Akash on the call?
No, we checked. No.
Oh, there is a problem with Saturday. Saturday the tenants won't be available. I forgot.
What about?
Saturday, but Saturday evening the tenants will be available. So whatever I configure by Saturday 4:30 p.m. This tenant will get refreshed. But nevertheless, I will. It is the call is again
So,
anyway at 8:30, right? So I will get
mm,
something configured after 4:30 p.m. So
so every
so
Saturday you're refreshing.
yeah, every Saturday tenants will go into maintenance. So it doesn't refresh the data usually, but since these tenants are DPT tenants,
Mm.
every Saturday the data sometimes get refreshed. So I don't know, because this is the first time using this tenant, so I don't know if it gets refreshed every weekend. But all the tenants across the world that are using Workday, every Saturday they go into maintenance. So Saturday for about
What
6
what is this?
hours.
What is this DPT tenant means?
DPT is an implementation preview. That's how
Mm.
Workday names it.
Okay, okay,
DPT. I don't know why it names it DPT, but this is like a preview tenant. So for companies, if they want to do some testing or create some POC, and if it's an implementation partner, if they want to demo something to the client, like I am demoing you this,
mm.
so they use a DPT tenant for that. They won't use a real tenant.
Okay, okay, got it.
It's like a playground.
Okay, okay. That means that high possible data can be reset as well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. Okay, okay, Nikhil. I think any I think we are done. I think it's too late. So let's discuss on Saturday. And
Yeah, sure. So Saturday I will come up with. So Saturday we'll have an interactive a more demonstration focused session where I'll show you some very good examples. So I'll create something for you and I'll give you a very small introduction to HCM so that you understand what is happening in the background.
Yeah,
So
let's
let's
focus on the bonus, commission as well as stock. Okay, so basically commission, we wanted to really understand how is this number getting associated and what is the value shown as a value, because commission is correlated with any sales percentage which is not available in the HR systems, right?
So Karthik, so in Workday there is Workday for in Workday merit and bonus we can handle, and there is a very good system in backend. Commission and stocks in Workday, it is just for representation purpose. It is not so Workday is an HR and financial system. It is not a stock management or a commission management system. There is always a third party system that every client will use to manage the commissions and manage the stock, stock assignments, vesting, and all outside of Workday. In Workday, there it is just for representation. That means it is just used for reporting. So there is nothing much that is happening in the background other than just assignment. Even if I put
Yeah, yeah. So we wanted to know the visibility only. How are they showing
yeah,
in
yeah,
this
that definitely we will go through, but there is just other than just assigning and showing it on the profile
Hmm.
and in the reporting and all, if we are creating any reports it will populate. Other than that, there is no other no other value that it provides. A lot of companies, they don't even use it. And
Hmm.
for commission and for sales and all,
Hmm.
what they use is a what they do, no, they will use this allowance plan. So I remember I created an percentage based allowance plan. So
Hmm.
they will create two different allowance plans called as they have a pay split base and on target earnings. So 60%, 60/35, or 70/40, however. So it will be more than 100%, right? One will be a guaranteed amount and one will be a percentage, that up to how much percentage employees eligible for, and
So
that will be
do you
pushed
have
out
this
of.
configuration in allowance, that percentage distribution to specify?
I'll just let me just share my screen. I'll show
If somebody has other work, maybe you can drop, I think.
you. So you see there are. So let's just let me just open compensation plans here. Or I'll just explain it here itself. Okay. So for sales employee, let's say there is a sales employee. Sales employee, how the sales how it is their compensation is defined this way. So let's say 60/40%, 60% and 40%, not 40, 45%, let's say. Okay. So generally the salary is 100%, right? But the employee can earn up to 105%. But there is a risk. 60% that whatever he earns out of this one of these will be like guaranteed payment, like maybe 45% or maybe 60% is a guaranteed payment, and 45% will be depending on the sales performance of the employee. So then employee might get paid more than 105 or more than 100%, or he might get just paid 80% depending on his risk appetite. Now there are different types, different percentages. 60/45 is there, 70/30 is there, 70 60, 70/50. Different organizations have this different, like up to how much percentage he can earn, and based on how much risk appetite he has. So if he's confident that he can do up to this much sales and he can achieve those targets, that is something that employee and the manager will have the discussion. But in Workday, we will create two compensation plans, like on target earning. One will be called on target earnings, so we call it as OTE, and one is called as PSD, pay split base. And these both will be percentage based compensation plans. And based on the discussion that employee has with his manager, if it is like the above that we define 60% and 45%, this is how we will maintain it in Workday, and this will be pushed to an external system, commission sales commission management system. and there this will track. So this is what employee has defined 60%.
So this you define based on, this is a commission plan, right? Whatever you are meant to explaining.
Allowance
It's
plan.
not an in
It's an
allowance
allowance.
in allowance there is no parameter to configure OT. Where is the parameter?
We create a compensation plan called one time payment, one target earning. So if I just create an allowance plan, let me just show you. I can just create an allowance plan like this, a percentage based allowance plan, and I'll just name it as on target earning. Like this, on target earning annual, and here I can put it as 0, and at the time of assignment manager can put 60% or 50% or 70%, whatever it is defined, and here I can use the comp basis and comp element to track it.
Okay, so
And I
where
can
is
create another one.
OT and PSB coming into picture?
You understand the concept behind OT. OT is nothing but on target earning.
Okay, just two different plans.
Yeah,
Two
so
different allowance. Okay.
yeah, so whenever in commission setting, this is how the design is. So that is what, right? Whenever even in any kind of sales jobs, there will be one guaranteed salary and there will be one variable salary. That variable will not be 10% or 20%, it will be like 30-40%. So even so for example, if you take companies like Futures First and all, that is like a trading company, and they have some employees will earn huge amounts, because based on how good they trade, they can earn commissions on each trade, right? So it depends. So it depends on employee how much appetite of risk he can take. So if he's ready to risk more than 50% of his guaranteed salary, with a reward of he can earn up to 150% of 150%, so 50% more than 150% compared to 100% salary. So if his salary is 15 lakhs, he can earn up to like 25-30 lakhs. That how much he can earn, that is what define this OT and PSB will define that percentage, like how much he can earn.
Okay, no, I understand the concept actually. Maybe we can, since Saturday we can see how to configure this. Okay, maybe this is a very interesting thing. So how do we really configure and how it gets projected? So to the as a total pay or total compensation, how it's getting projected.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Nikhil, one small problem. There is a link for LMS where you said the videos are getting uploaded. So that requires a Google login right now. So in case you have
You can
added
talk
us,
to Akash. Yeah, he will handle all those logistics.
Okay, I will ask Shruti to check with them and then provide us the access.
Sure.
Okay.
All right then.
So thanks for this extended time, Nikhil. Thank you.
No.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Karthik. Bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.